You've heard a lot about my story on this podcast and my wisdom. So today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I invited a past client of mine to come onto the podcast to share her story from anxious attachment to becoming securely attached. Her name is Leanne, and we worked together over a year ago now. So this episode is a little bit like the reunion where we catch up as to where she is now, the impact of the coaching that she has experienced with myself, and how it has completely transformed her love life and also other areas of her life as well. So this episode, she's going to take us on her journey, where she was before making that big leap of faith of investing in herself and making that decision that she can no longer tolerate the way that her relationships were going, and instead deciding to take action on herself, on her life. When she came to me, she was very anxious and dating this avoidant man who was on the other side of the world. And I could feel her energy, so anxious, so overwhelmed, didn't know what to do. And now sitting face to face with her over a Zoom call, she's calm, she's secure, she has the most incredible boyfriend who respects and loves and adores her completely. She's thriving in her career. So I am so thrilled for all the change and the transformation she's been through. She's going to take us through that, as well as sharing some of her own wisdom and lessons she has learned along the way. This is a very inspiring episode, and if you're someone who wants to hear a different story apart from mine of how it is possible for you to go from anxious to secure, to really hone in on that belief that if we can do it, so can you. It's so possible. And to hear a different perspective of what it's like to enter into a coaching program and go through that change and take that leap of faith to trust in somebody that has walked the walk, is talking the talk, and now is guiding you through it. Now, if you're even more curious about what that journey could look like for you, what those steps are, the process from anxious to secure, I would love to invite you to join a 3-day masterclass series that we are going to spend together, and it is called 3 Steps to Secure Attachment, and it is completely free. I am gifting this to you. This is the roadmap that I have taken Leanne and so many of my other clients through. It is tried, tested, and proven. So if you are inspired by Leanne's story and also mine, and you want to be next, you want to take a seat at the table of the securely attached lovers, then go ahead and join us in this masterclass series so you can have a very clear, crystal clear roadmap of how to get from anxious to secure. And the outline that I'm going to provide you in this training is going to be the outline that is for my brand new program, Securely Attached. So you will have the roadmap from the masterclass series, but if you are ready to do the deep work, to really go all in on yourself, just like Leanne did, this program is going to get you there. So your first step is to sign up for that masterclass series and find out more about Securely Attached and if it's the right fit for you, and start taking all that knowledge that you've already accumulated from the books, YouTube, podcasts, TikTok, and start to embody and experience what it truly feels like to become securely attached. You can find the link to sign up for this 3-day masterclass series, 3 Steps to Secure Attachment, in the show notes. So without further ado, let's get going with Leanne's story. Welcome to the Relationship Rehab Podcast. I'm Sammy, a certified breakup and relationship coach, attachment specialist, former love addict, and spiritual junkie. This podcast is for you, the hopeless romantic who loves to love, and a safe space for us to explore and heal our attachment trauma, broken hearts, and love addictions. Together, we are on a mission to become the love of our own lives so we can have successful, healthy, secure relationships with others. So if you're ready to create a life and love beyond your wildest desires, you're in the right place. Your journey towards becoming more secure in love and life starts now. Hello, loves. Welcome back to the Relationship Rehab. And today is an extra special episode. I am beyond thrilled to have one of my former clients on the podcast. Her name is Leanne, and she is an absolute powerhouse. I am so honored to have her come on and share her story with you because we have been on a journey together, truly. And she is someone who we can all relate to. She's an absolute powerhouse in her career. She has her own business, she has a good friendship circle, and she has all the things that any girl would ever want in her life. But when it came to dating and relationships, that was just not quite at par as the rest of the areas of her life. And that is why we began working together. So I wanted to bring her on the podcast because, well, one, she's so relatable to a lot of us. And two, because I think it would be great for you to have a different insight. Because I know I talk about my story a lot on this podcast. And now I'm giving the chance to Leanne to tell her story and all the things that we came up against along the way. So without further ado, Leanne, welcome onto the Relationship Rehab podcast. I am beyond thrilled to have you here.
Hi everyone. I'm so honored to be here today because I feel like I've obviously had many sessions with Sammy before, like on this kind of like Zoom call, and now like we're also meeting online, but for a different reason and at a different life stage. So I'm really happy to be able to share my journey with all of you.
Yes, I think it's been over a year now, Leanne, right? Where we have been working together. So it's almost like this reunion as they do
Yeah.
the dating shows where they come back and do a reunion 1 year later. So I think it would be amazing to touch upon where you're at after going through the program 1 year later as well. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and who you are and the projects that you're working on. But in my eyes, you are my former client and friend, and also just this incredible human being. And I know that Leanne is taking her journey and really speaking out on her own social media platforms about her ongoing progress and her ongoing transformation around self love and relationships and all the things in between. So tell us a little bit about you, Leanne, and who you are as a person before we dive into your journey.
Great. So I'm also a podcast host. My podcast is called Beyond the Label, where I interview people who break stereotypes. My journey, my self-love journey started when I dropped out of college because I had mental health illnesses. And many years after dealing with and healing with that, I decided to do a life coach training, just like how other coaches have helped me. So now I do coaching and I run a self-love community in Hong Kong and places like Singapore where we do self-love like events and we gather some girlies together to really be vulnerable and share. And that's kind of what I do now.
Yeah, and I've been seeing this on your social media. I'm thinking, oh my God, I want to join. It looks so amazing how you get all the women together in the room and talk about self love and wellness. It looks so beautiful. And Leanne also travels. You travel everywhere. And I'm always like keeping up with her travels. And that's how we met. We actually met in person in Thailand and was able to sit down with a coffee and really go through everything, gosh, over a year ago. So that's where I want to start, Leanne. If you can take us back to where you were back then, or maybe even before that, because I know you touched upon the mental health issues that you were going through that resulted in you dropping out of college. Can you share a little bit about where you were at in your life and the challenges you were faced with before we even met or while we met?
So for my journey, since I found out like I had mental health illnesses, I feel like am such like an impatient person that I need to fix this. So right out of dropping out, I went to find therapists, coaches, doctors to help with my problem, and really just jumped right into this self love journey. And yes, I kept on healing throughout the years, and honestly my life really changed. Stepped out of like a victim mindset, changed like yeah, changed my mindset basically. And there was just one area that was still just like Sammy just said, that was still not really working, which was relationship. Like I think I definitely improved my relationship with my family, with my friendship groups, and really stepped into what I want to do for my career. But in terms of men, I was still struggling a little bit. So when I first met Sammy, I was in the middle of my digital nomad traveling days where I was just everywhere. I went to Thailand, Europe, and my career was doing quite well. I was building communities and just branching out, but still, just still something missing, that I was still really insecure as like a girlfriend, if that makes sense. So it
Mm.
was, I felt that it was so meant to be that we met in Thailand, because I actually came to Thailand as an escape from this guy that I was seeing at the time in Europe. And I was just, and I was just so anxious every day, like waiting for his messages, that I felt like I need to have a getaway trip. I need to go somewhere. And that's how I reached out to a friend who was living in Thailand at the time, who connected me with Sammy. And I remember we were met up in a coffee shop, and I was still really anxious. I was having these like cold sweats like every day, because I was just like waiting for that guy to reply my messages. So I was not being present at all. I only wanted to talk about like my relationship problems, and I knew I wanted to fix it. And the universe just brought us together.
Hmm. Yes, it did. It sure did. And I remember meeting you that day. It's almost like it was yesterday. And I remember the coffee shop very well. And I could feel your energy. I could feel it. And I was there with you in that bubble, because I know what it was like to be in that space where you're so overwhelmed with that anxiety and you're checking your phone constantly and you're trying to distract yourself. Whether it's a healthy way or not is totally up to us and how we label it. But we want to go and take a trip, or we want to travel. I've done that as well, just traveled in order to try to reassure or validate myself. But I could not be present with my travels because I'm just constantly waiting for them to get back to me. And I remember the conversation we had about this guy. He was more typically on the avoidant side, right? And so, what was going on in your inner world back then, if you can remember, Leanne, like maybe some of the beliefs or thoughts, emotions you were having back then?
I For many years, I actually felt like I'm gonna be single forever. Like no one's gonna love me. Just because I'm not the typical like girlfriend material in my Asian culture. Like I don't have a college degree. I'm quite independent. That I love traveling. I have my own business, and typically guys think I'm intimidating. Like this is the stereotype of like, oh, because she doesn't need a man in her life. She's like got everything figured out already. Like having that type of image.
Mm.
And I do also show up on social media. I love to post about my lifestyle. I love to do fancy things sometimes, and I would always be categorized as like high maintenance. And for a long time, I just really like stepped into that. Like, okay, fine, I am high maintenance. Like, so what? Like, what if I don't find a guy forever? Like, sure, and just really like kind of telling me this like narrative like, oh yeah, I don't need anyone. But in the subconscious level, I was being really upset and really scared and anxious that no one's gonna love me for who I am. So that's why when someone came along and expressed interest, those fear and insecurities just like all came out to the surface, that I was not able to be my usual confident self. And yeah, I was just a version of myself that I don't really recognize.
That's really powerful and so relatable, I feel like, for a lot of us listening, where we are ambitious, powerful, incredible women who go after what we want in our career and our life and our fitness and our travel and whatever. And are we giving that perception to men that we don't need a man? And then they're categorizing us, like you said, as maybe high maintenance or too independent. And then that's putting them off, if you will. And so that then puts us in a space of protecting ourselves. So it's like, well, okay, well, if I'm being labeled this way, I may as well be this way. I may as well be too independent and wave the I don't need a man flag. But like you said, deep down, we desperately want that love and attention and commitment and affection and all those things. And I remember this having those that conversation and meeting you, and I was like, wow, she is like kicking ass at life. Look at her. And yet, you know, she's this space where she's holding for this man to treat her the way that he was treating you, and then all those subconscious beliefs from childhood which we have worked through of not being good enough, not being important enough, and going to be alone and going to be abandoned were coming up for you, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100% that. So relatable, honestly.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you were someone who was very solution focused. Again, a lot of us can relate, right, with that masculine energy within us, which is not a bad thing. It's got us to where we are now as successful, ambitious women, where we strive and we get what we want and deserve in life. And it's that masculine energy that drives us that enabled you to source out help and support from coaches, from courses, from all these things. So, what was your, I guess, what was the state or the mindset that you were in before you decided to to meet with me? I guess what I'm asking is, was there other things that you have tried before, or what was it about the coaching element, whether it's with me or any other coaches, that really support you to up level to the place where you want to be?
Yeah, so I feel like I've always been interested in coaches, and the universe just kind of thrown a coach to me. Um, like from time to time, that when I first dropped out of college, I randomly also met a coach on this Hong Kong WhatsApp group. And we worked together for a few years. And I think what I have learned along the way is that there's no like one coach fits all. Even in my journey, that that coach, that past coach, I love her so much and I still love her, but she was helping that version of me from that past time. And since I've grown, I need a new coach. I need new
Mm.
perspectives. I have new problems, and am on a new vibration that I just attract new coaches. And I feel like because I've tried a lot of different modalities, I've taken medicine for my mental health illnesses. I've gone to very traditional like talk therapy, who show me like graphs and like, oh, this is your threshold, and now like, you know, just like giving me theories. I've been through that as well, and I personally love coaching because of the human touch of it and how coaches are. I feel like a lot of people judge coaches because they're like, oh, like you didn't get a Nobel Prize or you don't have a doctorate degree, like why are you coaching people? And but for me as a client, I love that. I love that you're like a big sister to me. I love
Mm.
that we're just talking about like day-to-day problems that you have also been through, and now you're like helping me, and I just feel so much more comfortable being myself and expressing my problems to you in opposed to someone who's like showing me like pie charts.
Mm. I totally get that. And I've heard that many times where people go to the therapist office and they just don't feel that human to human connection that you were talking about. It doesn't feel relatable. Like, and I am all for therapy. Also studying therapy myself because I want to blend the modalities, but can also see the value of coaching and where it fits in the industry as well. And like you said, there's no one size fits all, and I think it's very important for us all to have the discernment as to what we need at that time. And I think you had a great experience of that where you really sat with yourself. It's like, okay, I am familiar with these people and their work, but is it going to serve me where I'm going? because it served me in
Yeah.
the past, but now I know that I'm moving forward into a new, bigger level of myself, and who's going to help me get there. And I think we all need to take that time as to, well, is therapy going to be the solution or the support that I need? Or maybe it's coaching, or maybe it's a self journey where I just do courses and books and support myself. And we're all moving through these different chapters of what we want to achieve and where we're going as well. So thank you for your explanation on that, Leanne. And it sounds like you've
Yeah.
tried all these different modalities, so you're quite the expert.
And I feel like one thing is that like don't let one oops.
My mic just dropped for anyone. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like don't let one bad experience like scare you away because there are a lot of like I don't know if shady is the right word, but there are a lot of people who are in this space doing this, but
Mm-hmm.
not with
Mm-hmm.
the purest intentions. And I've also come
Mm-hmm.
across them in my healing journey. And I think I'm lucky because I've also met like great coaches like you. But what if like your first experience is those people who just like trying to sell you like courses and like and just feel so ingenuine. So just telling everybody here there are these people, and if you come across them, don't get scared because there are also really cool and genuine and helpful people like us who are in this space.
Yeah. And on that topic, just really quickly, Liam, what should people look out for then? If, people are scared of investing their time, money, and energy into the wrong person, from your perspective and your advice, what should people be looking for when making that decision?
I feel like there's two things. One is just trust your gut feeling about a person, just like meeting a new friend or like meeting a guy that if no matter how fancy the Instagram page looks, when you are having like the first like discovery call or even when you're just like looking at the stories and you just feel like, oh, maybe this person is not vibing with you, then it's just a red flag. And the second thing is look at this person's current lifestyle or the messages that this person is spreading. Is this who you want to be down the line? Like, because for
Mm.
me, with you, obviously I love traveling, I love Thailand, and I felt that you were an inspiration to me that I also want to be able to get to a space where I am comfortable traveling by myself, and this is something that I really value. So, yeah, check all those boxes. If that person is just not giving you the vibes, then just move on to the next.
Especially as women, we are more connected to our intuition than we like to think. And sometimes we don't listen to it. So when you're having a gut feeling about someone, whether it's a good one or a not so good one, to follow it, to question it, to get curious, and to trust it as well,
Yeah.
and not allow logic and fear to take over, or allow someone to put you in a state of fear, because that's the thing
Mm.
as well. That I have come across in the coaching industry, where they can almost put you in a state of fear and manipulation of like, oh my gosh, if I don't go with this person, then I'm doomed forever. Well, that's not the case. It's about choosing someone who's going to lift you up and empower you to be in the space where you want to be, not put you in a state of fear.
Yeah.
So, on that note, were there any fears on your end when we were having our conversation about starting to work together in a coaching program? Were any fears or doubts or apprehensions coming up for you?
I feel that my biggest fear is actually opening up to to a coach, and there has been times before a coaching call that I would kind of be scared because I would have to like face my problems. Like I would just be like living in this like bubble of like
Mm,
really being delusional that like, oh, like everything is fine, but deep down I know it's not. That's why I need this coach. Yeah, so I feel like I kind of I would compare it to like taking like I don't know if you guys have tried like Chinese herbal medicine. It's really bitter. It's really like it's like black looking. It's just like really scary when you look at that like pot of like black liquid, and it tastes really bad, but after you drink it, it's really good for you, and you can really feel the effect, and it's not like a one time like solution that you actually need to continue and go on like yeah, you can progress with it. So that's how I feel with coaching. Yeah.
Mm, calls you out. It calls you out and it brings everything up to the surface and it's uncomfortable. I see this with well, mostly all my clients of this discomfort. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys that coaching or therapy or personal development as a whole is comfortable. If it's comfortable, you're not doing it right. It's supposed to be uncomfortable because you're stepping outside your comfort zone. You're doing things that don't feel familiar. It's
Mm,
going to require effort on your part. And this is why a lot of people feel so overwhelmed doing it on their own because it does feel like a lot. It feels too hard. It feels like you can't break those patterns or break through those beliefs that are running the show. But when you've got someone in the car with you, giving you the directions of where you want to go, you don't feel so lost. You don't feel so overwhelmed by the journey. And you've got
mm,
someone by your side. And that's what I
yeah.
love about the coaching relationship that you and I had as well. I really felt like we were in it together. It was your journey. You had the control of the steering wheel. I'm just in the passenger seat with the map,
Mm.
guiding you along the way.
And you need
Yeah, well,
that.
no, yeah, and we're going to get into where we went as well. But I want to just check in. Were there any other fears or doubts that were on your half? Maybe about whether this program would even work, or did your gut feeling was like, nope, 100%, it's going to be great.
I feel like I feel like okay. I think because the problems that we were tackling were really like, for me it was quite urgent. I was getting really nervous, and I would text you like right away when the guy sent me a message and like, oh, how should I respond to this? And you would kind of guide me through not just like the process of like crafting a text message, but also just like some of the things that I need to think about. And I feel like
Mm,
that was just so useful because honestly, like that was all I needed during that time. I needed like a voice, like a very sane and logical voice, to kind of like guide me through it before I spiral. And it's something that it could happen in like a second. And I'm sure like all of us have experienced that. Like we see a message and then we just gone down that spiral. So that was really, really useful. And I remember towards like kind of the end of our coaching, we didn't just work on like my relationship with a guy, but also my relationship with like friendship groups, and how I needed to set boundaries and how I can improve on my communication, which actually I still hold on to this day, that I still practice, of really like saying no to things. And I feel like that coaching really gave me the confidence and courage to do it, because it's not just about the mindset to do it, but you also gave me really practical skills on how to communicate so that there's no like hard feelings. So yeah, so that was
mm.
really helpful for me.
Amazing. And like you said, you had your intention of what you needed in that moment, which was guidance while you were in connection with this guy and what to do and all the things that were coming up as a result, the anxiety, the thoughts, the belief system that we were working with. And when you said, yeah, that's what I needed on the surface, was there anything about the program or our time working together that were quite unexpected for you that you didn't expect to have or achieve while we were working together?
So, give everyone a little bit of context. So, while we're working together, a few things that we achieved was that I stopped talking to the first guy, the guy that made me kind of like go into the coaching. So, we completely cut contact. We stopped talking to each other. And I met my now boyfriend, who I've already been dating for over a year now. yeah, so we achieved two major things. And now in my current relationship, I feel very secure and safe, and in a very loving, healthy relationship. And I feel like the coaching actually helped to put me in this space of receiving this kind of love, because I was the past me was quite attracted to like the insecure type of man, and that gave me butterflies. And if I had not gone through this coaching, I honestly don't know if I'll be attracted to my current boyfriend, who is so safe and secure. So this is something that was definitely quite an surprise for me.
Mm. And was there anything about the coaching or the program that allowed you to shift into that space? Because that's like a whole new level, right? Of that relationship that feels healthy and safe and secure, and also within yourself as well. What was it about the work that we did or about the program that supported you to get to that space?
I don't think I can pinpoint it to like a specific moment or like a specific like workshop that we did, but I think it was the general progress and feeling that I got from the coaching. I think instead okay, I think what spoke most to me was that I had a really good support system, which was you, to
Mm.
be by my side, to provide me with all these guidance, that I know that I can do this. I think this was it. It was the feeling of possibility and hope that
Mm.
I did not think I could. And like I said in the past, I was I was in the space of, oh, I don't want to date, like I don't need a man, I don't want a boyfriend. It was kind of like that. And now having such a strong support, you can now kind of like lift yourself up to feel like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe I do need and want someone to be in my life. And yeah, I feel like that changed everything.
Wow. And thank you for saying that. Beautiful. And I remember another client saying to me that you are the first secure relationship I've ever had. And that stayed with me because I feel like for a lot of my clients and for myself as well, we don't have the role models from our parents or caregivers or adults around us as children to show us what a secure relationship actually looks like, how what it
Mm.
feels like. And then we start getting into our own relationships and they're quite unhealthy and toxic. So this particular other client that I'm talking about never had a secure, healthy relationship before, not even with her own parents. And it was being in connection with myself and the container that we created together that we were able to build solid, secure foundations for her. And just like your story, Leanne, just put you in that space of, maybe I do deserve this. Maybe I
Yeah.
am worthy of this. And I know that it has to start with me first and the changes that I need to make and the decisions that I need to choose for myself as well on who I want to become and who I want to be. And when someone's by your side being like, absolutely, I see it before you can see it, and
Yeah,
invite
100%.
you to
Yeah.
get to that space. So that's beautiful. Yeah. And were there any other specific tools or strategies that you learned in the program that really made a big difference for you?
I think the biggest one is really setting healthy boundaries. I feel that since I'm also a coach, I feel like, it's something that I've always been practicing. And I this is where I just want to point out that a lot of coaches also need coaches. It's just like how like even in like teachers or like doctors, you need to keep learning and having different energies around you that make you reflect and help you think things through. Because I thought that I was quite good at setting boundaries, but there are obviously times where, it's also like a moment that, oh, like, something just like really bothering me. And I really just needed that extra voice to kind of like help me through that stage. Yeah. So I feel like
Mm.
even having learned and known those specific tools myself, having another person tell it with me and practice those things with it really make a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And the relationship that you're in now, you actually met him while we were coaching together, right? Or did you know him before? I can't remember.
I need to tell the story because I feel like it's such a meant to be. So we were friends from before, and we reconnected when I was in Chiang Mai. Actually, when I was in Chiang Mai, shortly having met you, and I didn't think much of it. It was just some friend reaching out to reconnect. And I really feel like because of having chatted with you and having gone on this like getaway trip where I was able to a bit more free and a bit more comfortable, I replied to this guy and like, okay, sure, like let's get a coffee sometime. And this was kind of the beginning, little did I know, of the relationship that I'm in now.
Wow. Tell us more about this relationship, because it's so incredible, right? That in that moment where we met, you were actually chasing another guy, someone who was being totally emotionally avoidant with you, playing games, putting you in this state of anxiety, and bringing all your stuff up to the surface. Whereas he was just kind of in the background, almost just waiting and holding space for you to be ready. And then you set the date, you went for a coffee. What happened after that?
So the universe have great timing. So
Always.
the yeah. So the date that we set to meet up was, I think, quite a long time after the initial like text message in Thailand, just because of travel schedules. So we met up, I think, actually a few days after I stopped talking to the previous guy. And I think the decision to stop talking to that guy really freed myself up into just into a space of like possibilities. And at first, even that coffee initial like first date, I would say, I didn't feel that much. I wasn't thinking so much into it. But obviously he started showing more interest and started doing like really sweet things. And yeah, I just felt like I just need to be open-minded. Like, why self-sabotage? Why stop myself from getting to know this amazing guy who's obviously putting in effort? So, yeah, it was just the shift in mindset that led me to this relationship.
Wow, that shift in mindset that really opened up the space, opened up your heart for something that may not have felt familiar to your subconscious, but consciously choosing and overriding your subconscious and that familiarity of being with the bad boy, the avoidant. And it's been over a year now. And where are you guys at now in your relationship? How do you feel in your relationship?
I just feel happy, happy and content, comfortable, like all the good things that you can say. Um, and I feel like one thing that I still carry a lot from our coaching days is how to show up in times of arguments, in times of um just like feeling upset or angry, like how to communicate with the other person. And I also can't tell you specifically what are the things, but I feel like it's just with practice from our coaching days that I've learned to be a lot more patient, a lot more like open to listen, a lot more calm, that I don't act on
Mm.
impulse anymore. And yeah, I'm just really grateful because I feel like I'm finally in a good version of myself to be able to be in this loving relationship. Because if I still am the person that I was, being really like angry and like impatient, and I don't even know if this will last.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we do attract that healthy masculine, we are able to be completely and truly our authentic and highest selves as well, because they allow it. They don't suppress it. They don't override it. They encourage it. And that's when we can really thrive as females, I believe. And just like myself, it's very interesting when you experience yourself in a healthy relationship as opposed to an unhealthy relationship, and the difference that you experience of your the aversion of yourself that comes through can be quite profound. And this is another thing I want to get across to a lot of us is sometimes we feel like we still want to chase those butterflies and those explosions and the emotional roller coasters, because when they're good they feel so good, and it's like a drug. We get so high and it's like the world is completely multicolored and it is a very drug like feeling, but the lows are crashing, are
Mm.
so bad, just like as if you were coming down from a drug. And for me, I was that moment where I had to make a decision for myself. It's like,
Mm.
okay, I either continue to carry on the addiction, the ups and downs, and these are the consequences for doing so, or I choose something that may not feel familiar right now in the moment, but I can do the work on myself
Mm.
to allow it to become familiar to me. And it's about making that decision. And it's these types of micro shifts that we go through. And I'm not surprised you can't pinpoint specific things, because another myth a lot of us have about therapy or coaching or any type of personal development we're doing is we're almost expecting these massive breakthroughs of like ping and explosion and oh my God, now I'm going to wake up a brand new person. But
Mm.
actually, it's about the micro shifts we go through, the habits that we start to accumulate, and the small decisions we start to make for ourselves, for our relationships, that then start to accumulate into what we know as the breakthrough. So,
I love
yeah, I
that. I
just
love
wanted
that
to
so
talk about.
much.
Yeah. You're breaking up a little bit, my love, but I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's just like
Okay.
sometimes you freeze and I'm not sure if
Oh,
you're there. Okay. So, getting that healthy, secure relationship in and of itself, a massive milestone and achievement for you in becoming secure, securely attached. But was there anything else that may have surprised you or was a goal at the beginning of working together that you did achieve that was also something of a milestone and an achievement for you?
I feel like I feel like instead of like categorizing it as a milestone, it's more like I'm surprised of how much it shaped me in other areas in my life and not just relationship. Because I really see because I think in the past I always see relationship as a separate category in my life, that oh yeah, everything else is running smooth and I'm just like shit at dating and that's fine. But now having this really nice relationship, I didn't realize that it also make the all the other areas in my life so much more elevated. Like
Mm,
even in my business, I'm able to show up as a much more confident self. Not that I wasn't confident before, but this was such a new level that I've unlocked. And it's because I feel so supported and so loved, and also in relations to like my self-love, that I think having a secure partner really it's just that I think I would compare it to having like such a nice and clean home that you might still be the same person, but if you're in such a messy and like dirty, like in the garage, yes, you're still you with the same potential, but you might not be able to express it fully. But now I'm in such a nice, like bright place that I'm able to really shine through, if that makes sense.
100%. You remind me of the psychological theory on environment. And
Mm.
sometimes that doesn't mean a physical environment, or it can, but there's so many studies done out there that the environment impacts the way that you are as a person, and how you are productive and how you achieve and how
Mm.
you show up in life, whether it's career or any goals that you're wanting to have in your life. And I mean, they do talk about the physical environment, just like you said, right? When we have a messy home or disorganized and it's chaos, like how can we be productive? How can we
Mm.
focus? How can we be our most authentic, truest selves who's reaching their highest potential? And the way that then I interpreted those studies was in a relationship. When we're
Mm.
in a chaotic, messy, crazy relationship, including the one with ourselves, that's blocking us. That's blocking
Mm.
us from really realizing our potential in career, in fitness, in travel, in life. Whereas when we have a clean, healthy environment in our relationship with someone who fully supports us, who loves us for who we are, our authentic selves, I'm also experiencing that as well, where I'm
Mm.
fully celebrated and allowed to be who I am and show up as I am and loved so deeply. Oh, it's just an absolute game changer. So I'm just so thrilled and happy and over the moon that you have this for yourself as well.
I'm so happy for you too.
So talk to us about your career. Like, what were those changes that you made and where you at right now in all these different areas of your life?
So, oh, I actually just launched this really new project. That is actually a lot of it. It's inspired by our coaching journey together and where, like, how I got to where I am today. I'm wearing it right now, actually. So, it's like a jewelry collection with
Wow.
different like charms, and each charm is inspired by a part of my self-love journey. And here, and you probably can't see it, but in the middle, it's a charm that says peace.
Hmm.
And it's just so like it's just like the essence of everything that I stand for now. And another one is actually a dollar sign. And I actually forgot it, but now just speaking about this, we also worked a lot on manifesting money and abundance,
Mm-hmm.
and allowing myself to even dream about like earning money, which I feel like that's always been like a mindset block for me. Yeah, so I just launched it. Really excited that I can kind of like incorporate myself, like my self healing journey into my career, and I'm doing a lot more events, with supporting women and supporting like women, like just like uplifting each other. And I also feel like I've grown so much from where I would maybe sometimes do things because it's right on paper, because oh, it's good for branding, it's good for exposure. But now I'm so happy to finally be in a comfortable space where I really do want to pick and choose who I work with. I only want to work with people that align with my energy, who also supports my goals and values. And yeah, so just in a
Hmm.
very happy space of work right now.
And I love to see it all on your socials. I'm always following your journey, and I love that you've taken your pain, if you will, your journey, your transformation, and you've transformed it into power. You've transformed it into wisdom. When we think about the different categories of learning, when we first start out learning something, we're in the knowledge area. We're collecting all the knowledge that we need And then we move into what we call experience. And that's where a lot of people are when they come into coaching or even therapy, is now they're taking their knowledge and they're getting the support to be able to embody that knowledge, to be able to
Mhm.
experience that knowledge. And what I find then when clients graduate from my programs is they step into stage 3, which is wisdom. Now they're
Mm.
taking what they've learned and experienced and embodied within themselves, and now they're creating from that space. They're
Yeah.
serving others from that space. And this is what I'm seeing in your life, where you're creating all these different projects and environments for people to heal and to grow for themselves, because you're now in that space. And I'm so excited. Congratulations on your jewelry project, your new jewelry business. It's beautiful pieces. I love the concept of the charms. I've always said another psychological fact: when we wear certain clothes or jewelry, as you can see, I got my moonshine necklace on here right now, and I'm not wearing it just for decorative purposes. Like, it has an actual intention. And I feel like when we use pieces like jewelry or clothing and we give it a certain energy, a certain
Mm.
intention, it's a constant reminder of who we are at our true secure core. So I love that yours is manifested into jewelry as well, where you can pick your charms of what you want to manifest or what intentions you want to set for yourself going forward. And it makes a very powerful impact. It's a very subtle shift, but a powerful one as well.
Yeah, I really hope so. And I love everything that you just said, because I feel like, yes, like mindset is having like remembering things in your mind, and like having that is so, so great. But it's also so cute as well to have something that you can wear that kind of like represents your personality. And I honestly
Yeah.
feel like at this age, I just don't want to like spend random money anymore onto like cute trinkets I see like randomly online. I really do want to pick and choose to support like local businesses, and that business with messages that I also support. So yeah, I
Mm.
hope that people will also resonate with this.
100%. And it's all about being intentional and not
Yeah.
not buying or purchasing to for any other intention but to please yourself, but for that thing to support you in wherever you're going in life, and not because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses. Okay. Trying to prove yourself in a way.
Yes,
And you
100%.
made a great point about the mindset beliefs as well. That when we start to up level the beliefs that we hold about ourselves in relationship, a lot of us forget that those beliefs are running the show in other areas of our lives as well. So if we feel like we're not good enough in our romantic relationships, that's rippling into your career in some way, into your friendships, into the way that you're showing up in life. It may not be as prominent or conscious as when you are dating and in relationship, but they're there in a subtle way. And like you said, you unlocked a whole new level of confidence because we worked on those beliefs of not being good enough and not being important enough. And then when you unlock that, you unlock it in all different spaces in your life as well. So I think that's something to hone in on as well, and emphasize.
Mm.
Okay, so I want to speak to you from that place of wisdom now. And I want to see if there's any advice you would give to somebody if they are at the beginning of their own journey of transformation, or whether there's someone who is maybe considering taking that big leap of faith into something like therapy or coaching. What advice would you give that person?
One thing that comes to my mind is to remember that it's not going to be an overnight transformation. It's not going to be you're a new person after one session. And sometimes it's really hard actually to stay motivated even when you don't see shifts after the first week. But I think it's just really important to keep reminding yourself that this is a process. And there was a coach that once told me that even when I fall back, I'm not like Okay, I'll rephrase this. Um, I'm always so scared that if I fall back into like old patterns, or like, oh, I have one bad day, my coaching is wasted. Like my self healing is like gone. But no, it's actually not.
Mm.
So what I want to say now is, know that you will never be back to square one when you started this healing journey. Even when you have a bad day, bad episode, bad argument, you are still not the person that you once were, because you've already started. And taking the step to start the healing journey, even if you don't realize you learned anything, you've already taken that step, and that is bringing you already to a whole new level. And it's only going to get better, because you're only going to keep learning new things, and on a subconscious level that you don't even realize, that one day you will notice the shift. That one day you will notice that you're speaking a little bit differently, you're doing things a little bit like differently for yourself, or you're making decisions that you've never made before. So please never give up in this.
Beautiful message. And you don't know how often I hear from clients, or they send me a message and they're like, Sammy, this has happened. I feel like I've taken 10 steps back and I'm back at the beginning. And it's in those moments we do have to remind ourselves, each other, you're not going backwards, my love. You are catapulting into the new level. And we get tested when we are making that decision to up level in life, wherever that looks like, in relationships and career. We will get tested. Those tests are going to come. And because I know what's happening, I'm able to reassure, I'm able to calm. It's okay. You're being tested. You're catapulting. You just wait. You're being called and invited to 10x your capacity right now. You're not going back to square one. And like you said,
Yeah.
you never will. And I always celebrate the heck out of the women and the men that choose to take this leap of faith in coaching and make a decision for themselves. Because I promise you, when you decide to invest your time, money, and effort and energy into a program, you're already
Yeah.
halfway there because you've
Yeah.
made that decision.
100
Do you feel like that resonates with you as
100%.
well?
100%.
Yeah, I felt that in my own journey as well. What about those people that, because I've been in this space where they're so riddled with fear that,
Mm,
oh my gosh, this is, going to take me to the darkest of depths of my soul, of my shadows, of my subconscious. This is frightening. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if because I'm dealing with beliefs that I'm not good enough and I never come to anything, or whatever's happening, I can't do this. Or what if I'm wasting my money on this? Or what if I'm
mm,
putting so much energy and nothing changes? What could you think we could say to those people that are really battling with those fears?
mm. I feel like if someone is really in that space of fear, and I once was too, I was completely feeling that. I think when I first dropped out of college with like clinical depression and having panic attacks like every week, I was totally in that space. And I think what helped me the most, and be honest, I wasn't ready for any of coaching of like this type of conversation back then. I was not. But what I needed was someone to hold my hand and just be there and just sit with me and just let me know that I'm okay. I think
Hmm.
that's it. And I think a coach can also play a part in this, that, okay, I'm not going to give you guidance today. I'm not going to um, even like motivate you, because you might not be ready for motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But just sitting there and hearing you out, and that's okay. And if you're someone listening who are in that space, then find someone, find a coach, find a therapist who can just be there for you, And oftentimes you feel so alone in this journey at those moments that no one around you understands you. You have no friends or family, like they're just out of the picture at those
Mm.
moments. So having that one person, one warmth of hope that is just there next to you can make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it goes back to having that discernment of what you need. And sometimes we don't need a push and in guidance. We just need someone to be there and reassure us and hold our hand. And I don't know about you, Leanne, but in my own journey and what I see in a lot of other clients as well is sometimes they can't turn to their family and friends and talk about what they're experiencing, especially relationship anxiety. I remember when I would start to talk to friends and my mother about this, and I would get this dismissal and generalized advice of like, well, don't be silly.
Mm,
That's just silly. Now you sound like a little girl. Don't be,
yeah,
play hard to get, and you'll be fine. And I remember thinking, no one understands me. Like, I can't go to my friends or my family because I'm already feeling so much shame over my behavior and my feelings. And now they're telling me that I'm being silly and that, I just shouldn't do it. And this is as easy as
yeah.
that. If only it was as easy as that. And I feel like when we choose to work with somebody or we put ourselves into a community with others that get it, they understand what we're going through. They've been there, they know, and they can sit with us and validate us and hold our hand and walk us through our feelings as opposed to dismiss them. It's an absolute life changer.
I really resonate with that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes our
Yeah.
friends, even they want to help us, they don't know how to. Like they don't
Mm.
know what is to hold space. They don't know what are the things to say. And yeah, it's just yeah,
Mm.
there's just like a disconnect right there.
You're totally right. Like they want to do their best. They want to show up for you as best as they can, but they don't know how. They don't have the training or the experience to support you. All they can do is listen, maybe. And like you said, sometimes that's all we need, but then the responses may not be what we need. So, yeah, amazing. I have two more questions for you, my love. The first one is about your past self. And I wonder if you could go back to the moment where we're sitting in that coffee shop and
Mm.
you're waiting for that text message from that guy and you're trying your best to be present with your travels, but there's so much anxiety happening and you don't know what to do and everything is all over the place. If you could go back to that moment, what would you say to that past version of yourself?
This may sound cliche, but all I want to say, all I
We
want
love
to
a good
say is just
cliche.
that this will pass. Like this is it. Even though it's such a small thing, and now looking back, it's such a small thing. It's just a text message from this one person. But at the moment, it feels like the world is ending. And I'm sure we've all felt this way before that something minor
Mm.
happens and, like, no. And then you get so anxious and so, like, and it just occupies your mind for the entire day and you just don't see an end to it because your view is blocked, like you're literally blocked with just like that one major like problem that is in your head. So yeah, just to know that like it's okay to feel this way right now, and it's okay because it's just gonna pass.
Yes, I love that. And I want to just echo that with my own insight here is your feelings are valid, but sometimes they're not a reflection of the reality. And to know that
Mm.
fear is in place, the subconscious beliefs are activated, your nervous system is activated, everything is firing off the charts in that moment. And it is when we have those somatic tools and the reprogramming practices that we've worked through together that we can be able to bring our nervous system state back down to a regulated space and respond as opposed to being a reaction. I love that message. And then I lied, I
Yeah.
have an extra question. So now I have two questions left. The next one is, what's next for you? How do you see your future unfolding now that you're a year out of graduating from the coaching program? What's next? And how do you see your future unfolding?
I'm really excited about my future. I I just launched this jewelry collection, like I said, and I'm actually launching a few more products. I'm launching a eye mask, like a sleeping silk eye mask. Yeah. A hoodie and a sweatshirt, and they're all with the message of being to
Mm.
manifest your best life. And there's also one of the products, there's a little hidden message like in the back of the sleeve, so only you can see it, as a little moment of encouragement. When you need like a little boost, you can just like flip the inside of your
Mm.
sleeve and see this message just for you. And I'm just really excited about that, because that's the thing that I want to wear, I want to carry with me, that can be an emotional support, like, when my coach is not free to answer my messages. Yeah, and I think other than the product launches, I'll continue be hosting a lot more events all over the world. I have plans to be hosting things in like London and Paris this summer, and then in the fall around September in Singapore, and hopefully in Thailand. So just really trying to hold space to create these communities, and I feel like who I am now, I'm able to hold space for much more difficult conversations that I never thought that I could. Like a few months ago, I did an event in Singapore where we shared about
Mm.
experiences of abuse in relationships. And this is something that past me would kind of like dodge, or like I'm not comfortable going in like so deep or into something that seems uncomfortable. Or I also had a conversation, like a workshop with another organization, talking about miscarriages and abortion. So I will still do the more kind of like fun and like fluffy empowerment events, but I now also want to be talking about like really breaking the taboos and the stereotypes of what women can or cannot talk about.
Wow, that's a powerful space. And you're taking all that self-love and putting it into products and events and challenging yourself to get uncomfortable
Yes.
and to expand your comfort zone. Beautiful. What about your relationship?
I'm really happy with the things that I'm really happy with how it's going. And I feel like one major thing of what I love about my boyfriend now is his respect for my independence, his respect for my traveling. And so, okay, let me share this. Basically, what he said that made me want to commit with him is because he said that he really supports my travel, and that if he misses me, all he has to do is to buy a plane ticket.
Oh, and what did that do for you hearing that?
He makes it sound so simple. And that's what I need. I
Mm.
just want it to be simple, to be natural, instead of hearing from past guys that like, oh, like, why are you doing this? Why are you traveling? Like, you're making things so difficult by putting us in long distance. And yeah, and my boyfriend now, he just made it into like one step. No overthinking, no insecurities, just, yeah, okay, I'll come visit you if I want to see you. And that in itself also gave me a lot of security in the real world. Like, he's financially stable, he's able to travel, he works hard for himself and for the relationship. So it's just so beautiful on so many layers for me.
It really is. What a beautiful thing to say. And what do you feel like your interpretation was of that about yourself?
I feel like he finally lets me to be who I am. and he sees it as a beautiful thing. He loves my independence. He loves my worldview of wanting to explore the world instead of things I've heard in the past, which is me being selfish. Yeah, and me being like spoiled and like oh just like wasting money on like traveling, but that's my dream. Like I feel like I want to earn money because I want to travel, and that's the essence of who I am. So having someone who fully respects,
Yeah.
supports, and who also loves traveling, that's like I feel like I really attracted him into my life.
Oh, I've got goosebumps because something came to my memory, Leanne. One of our early conversations, you said to me, I travel too much. I'm too independent. I don't know if I will ever find someone who would be okay with that because of your past experiences and maybe some of the conditioning that you've had from your childhood as well, but made it kind of put these two and two things together. It's like if I am my fullest version of myself, and what that means is doing my business, traveling, and having this, sense of independence about me, no one's going to want that. And now you've got this man who's come into your life and actually bulldozed those beliefs and is like, no problem. I'm going to go wherever you are.
Hmm.
And it's as simple as that because I'm choosing you and I'm accepting you for who you are. And if anything, I respect you for it and I love it and I'm supporting you for it. And that just echoes such a beautiful belief
Yeah.
for us all to
Oh.
ingrain, which is I am safe to be me. I have this person who is fully choosing me in all the different parts, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the in between. And they're still showing up for me and they're still choosing. And that is just such a beautiful, beautiful environment to be in and to co-create together as well. So I am just beyond thrilled.
I'm getting major goosebumps too. Like, oh my gosh. Ah, such a long way we've come.
It has been a long way, it's been a journey, and you have just leaps and bounds in your journey as well. And what I want to say to everybody listening was yes, I was in that passenger seat. Yes, I guided and directed and held Leanne's hand through it all. But at the end of the day, it was Leanne that did this. I was just there guiding her and being by her side. It was her commitment to herself, her effort, her decision to do things differently and to put in the effort and to do the assignments and the invitations and the things that we agreed upon in our calls. And even though, like she said earlier, in the moment she felt like maybe it's not making a difference, she didn't give up. She continued with it until there's this subtle difference in the way that she's showing up. And it's about noticing those subtle differences as well. So it's Leanne that did all the work. And that's what we need to do is show up for ourselves in that moment to be able to attract and build all of the things that we're dreaming of.
Hmm.
I have one last question for you, my love. For someone who might be listening to this, they're listening to your story with the intention of wondering whether they should invest in coaching. What could you say to that person who is a bit on the fence and they don't know whether they should do it or not?
I would ask that person to envision your life maybe like one year ahead with and without coaching. I think without coaching, you would kind of be like doing the same things. You would be like seeking advice from your friends, watching like YouTube videos. You know, that's a general way of like how we get information nowadays, right? So you would kind of like be in this loop, and that's how I feel that if I don't invest in coaching down the line of 1 year, I would still kind of be like doing this, maybe like slightly better, like 10% better because of just like getting older, and try to imagine it also with coaching and see coaching not as a I don't even know how to say this correctly, but a lot of people see coaching as like just having hiring like an additional friend to talk to you. Some people see it this way. But how I see it is actually having a mentor, having a teacher who's been through this and who can give you all the knowledge that she already knows, and she can share all her ups and downs, all the failed methods that she's used before. And who doesn't want this? Who doesn't want someone who's already been through and probably failed to tell us what not to do and to kind of like guide us? Yeah. And it is like what Sammy said, it is still our own journey, our own work that we need to do. But isn't it so much better to do it with someone who knows the way instead of just us like trying to find like, I don't know, like trying to just like figure it out on our own. Yeah, so just try to envision that. Try to like just think about like where your life is headed after a year. And yes, it is a lot of money. I do think it's a lot of money to invest in. But think of, will you spend maybe like the similar amount of money on other things like gym or like a beauty treatment or doing your lashes and nails? You probably would, honestly, for a lot of us. So maybe just don't do your lashes. I don't do my lashes anymore. Yeah, just I feel so much happier with my coaching instead of having like lash extensions.
Beautiful message coming into the topic of money. And it's important that we do talk about money. And I also had money blocks, massive money blocks, because of the conditioning that I went through around money. And then I had a coach who really transformed the way that I think about money. And he said, money is an asset. And we all use money, whether we use it consciously or subconsciously, and we spend on the things that are important to us. So have a look at what you're already spending your money on, and ask yourself, is it important in where you want to go in life? Is it? Maybe it is, or maybe it's not. And a lot of us like unconsciously spend. I know that I get myself in these patterns sometimes, but I don't even know where my money's gone. And it's like, okay, am I spending intentionally? Am I investing in things that is going to up level my life? And being able to use money as that, as a resource. And another really profound thing he said was, money is the only resource that we have that we can get more of, because time, that's running out, whether we like to face it or not. Every day we are running out of time. We cannot get more time, but we can get more money. And the more that we up level ourselves in whatever area, just like we spoke about, we will attract more money. We will make more money. We will create opportunities for more money. So thinking about whether investing this money, and like you, I don't want to push it to the side and be like, money, it comes and goes. It's a big investment. And that's a whole part of the transformation as well, that when you've got skin in the game, when you put down that amount of money on something, boy, you're going to show up. Best believe you're going to show up for that program, for yourself, because my God, I just invested a couple of thousand on this. There's no way I'm not turning up. And in that moment, you step up rather than something for free. It was just something for free. It's fine if I miss it. You're not going to do the work if it's free.
Yeah.
And another psychological fact, when there's no value attached to something, it doesn't challenge you. So
Yeah.
they are all my little money mindset shifts. Leanne, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here and to hold the space for your story, for your wisdom, for your messages. Is there anything that you want to say before we say goodbye?
Well, thank you so much for holding space and for inviting me onto this podcast. I had amazing time, honestly, and moments of goosebumps like throughout the episode. If anyone's like watching the
Mm.
video, you will see our faces like, and yeah, it just reminded me of my own transformation, and that we don't look back and honor ourselves as much we need to, because we
Yes.
all grow. And wow, it's only been like a little bit more than a year since we stopped, like I graduated from the coaching, and I've already become such a different person. So I really hope for all of you that whatever you're going through, that you will be better, because there's actually no other way. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we're always moving forward some way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if people want to hear more about you, I know we'll have all your links in the show notes, but if they want to follow your journey, now that they've invested in you, in their time, where can they find you? Where can they maybe reach out to you if they have a question?
So I'm very active on Instagram. My handle is Leanne Blue, LeanneBlu. I post a lot about self care, self love tips, and snippets of my journey on there. My company, where you can find info about upcoming events, self care quotes, and also information about my podcast, is on the Blue Journal on Instagram. Is THEBLU dot and then journal. Yeah. And my podcast is Beyond the Label, is on wherever you're listening or watching this, YouTube as well. And yeah, you can find all the links if you want to purchase my products on my Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Yeah.
Leanne is the perfect example of someone who is absolutely thriving. So, if you want to get an example of where you could be, if you take that leap of faith, if you believe in yourself and you honor and respect yourself to the point where you know that you can level up and you are not going to stop until you do so, Leanne is that perfect example. So, go and follow her and her journey, and you can see what is possible for you. Thank you,
Thank
Leanne,
you
my
so
love.
much.
Thank you so much for joining me on the Relationship Rehab podcast. I hope that this episode has supported you in healing, growing, and evolving out of insecure attachment and unhealthy relationship patterns and into safe, authentic love with yourself and others. If you enjoyed the episode, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would just take a second to rate and review this podcast. Every rating and review from you guys counts, as it really helps this podcast to grow so it can reach more people who need to hear this content. And don't forget to connect with me on social media. Take a screenshot of this podcast episode, share it on your IG stories, and tag me at the.relationship.rehab with your biggest takeaway from the episode. I really do love reading them. See you back here next week for another episode on the Relationship Rehab podcast.